you guys have started logging, but in that case, yeah?
Sir, I just joined.
That
is okay, sir.
Okay, great. If you have started logging in, then that's cool. But there are a lot of steps that I've given you. You should follow that steps. So I want you guys to all be in sync, which means given the AnyDesk ID and the password, once you've connected, right, you have to give the password that is allotted to you. So that password is there for you uniquely, right? So if you are inside that, then you could give your VIT login credentials just for the Windows access. If you forgot it, just type a register number in the Windows login and welcome 123 as the password, right? Choose other user and do that. If nothing works out, then use the student login. So you can you have to type /student and the password as student. I hope you're all aware of this, right? So once you're logged in into Windows, then your next step should be don't run the Netsim icon that is there. There is a step, right? The step is you have to go to the D drive, right? And in that D drive, you will have a batch file. Please, very important, otherwise it is going to screw up. So once you have connected to the remote desktop, the remote system, go to the D drive and copy, don't cut it. Right click, copy the batch file, whether it's a Netsim standard or Netsim academic. In every system, you might either have a standard version or an academic version. Don't get bothered by that. Whatever version that is there, just copy that, place it in your desktop. Okay. So once you placed it in a desktop, you double click it. Now you are going to access the license server to get access. Okay. So that's the next step. This is from where I am going to start doing. So I am going to directly run because I have all the privilege. So I'm connecting through the academic version because I think we have all given you a standard version, and since 43 are there, you know the license, how it works. I'm going to take one of the academic license. So this is the IP that you have to type. So there will be 4 boxes. You know IP address is 32-bit. So 4 8-bits, right? 172.16.1.92. Please type that. Port number and all don't change anything. It will be 5053. That don't change. What is this? This is your license server IP in your VIT network, right? Our license server is running in that. So we are trying to connect to that and get the license. Pull one of the license. So as a client, when you're connecting to the license server, you get one of the license. Remaining 59 are there. So it keeps tracking of how many clients have connected. If more than 60 connects, that's all. That's the limit. The 61st will not get the connection. This is how it works. So I am just worried now. I want before myself getting connected. Are you connected? That's something. So if you're connected, just give some smileys in the chat box. Your status, whether if Netsim is connected. So you have to type 172.16.1.92. So let me do that for you. Show the demo. So it's already there in my case, right? I'm just giving an OK. So this will validate the user license. Yeah, Nita Basu, good, connected. So I hope all of you are able to connect. Now, if you see that, this is a welcome screen that you will get. If you are connected through a Netsim standard, the Netsim standard welcome screen will come, version 10. Good, 3 are connected. I want all the 42 to connected. Now, that's the first success that we can get as a team here. Okay, so if you are facing any issue, please feel free to put your issue in the chat of our group. Great, good. So whatever you are doing, right? Balaji sir is there, so he will be able to see what you're doing, correct? And so this is something which we wanted to make it fulfilling. Okay, so good. So if you're facing any issue, please put it here so that Ratish can also follow it up. At the same time, put it in the WhatsApp group. Okay, so that we could get started. Fine. So if you're all there, then I think it's good to go. So now what we're going to do is, as you know, there's going to be menu bars. So we are interested in the first menu bar, which is your simulation. So simulation is where you go and create a new project. Okay. So if you have an existing project, you go open and open the network. So ideally what happens is your project that you're trying to create, correct, is created as a folder. Okay, I think someone has switched on your video. Okay, so there is a folder that gets created. So whatever design that you're doing, the configuration actually gets saved as an XML. I just want you guys to remember this, because I will forget telling this. So when I create a project, a folder gets created, and it's not just one file that gets saved. There are multiple files that get saved because you run the simulation. There are trace files that get generated, log files that are getting generated. So inside the folder, everything will be there. But the design that you have done and the configuration that you have done will be saved as an XML. And that XML will be saved as configuration.xml. This is something that I want you guys to know. That's the first step I wanted to prior before starting. I want you guys to remember. So in my documents, if you see, by default, it will be saved as experiment. So in that experiment folder, you will have multiple files being generated. So what I'm saying now is, when you design a network, the network settings, all that parameters will be saved as an XML document, configuration or XML. So when you're opening, right, you're opening an existing project. So you click on network, you go and load the configuration file so that you could, continue your design. So what's the first step? Whenever you design something, please remember to save it, right? And it gets saved as whatever name that you want as a folder, and you want to reload your configuration, you just open the configuration.xml. Clear? Please raise your hands if you have understood this first step. You're not yet going to created the project, but the step is, if you have saved a project, how it saves and how you need to reload an existing design is based on loading the configuration.xml. Okay, good. So that being said, let's start creating a new project. And the component that we're going to use is the internetworks component. We are trying to build a network, right? And Ethernet, Wi-Fi all comes under this internetworks component. That's it. So once you have clicked the internetworks component, you have your environment window. This is where you're going to drag drop all your devices links. So all the devices that are there, end devices, networking devices, links that you can use pertaining to internetworks component, which are not shown as these kind of into. This cannot be used in this component. Okay, this will be used in your cellular component, so we can't use this. All these can be used, right? And so that is what we're going to do. So this is one thing. So we are going to just simply drag and drop. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is the task, if you see, I'm asking you to basically use 6 nodes, but I will be showing the demo with only 4 nodes, right? So when you are trying to build, you are going to add an additional 2 nodes and scale up your design. Okay, so right, so let me now do. Okay, so click on the node. All of you can do along with me. So click on the node. If you click on the node, it shows what are the different types of nodes that are there. These are all the end devices. Okay, so I'm going to only focus on wired node, normal PCs or laptops, which has your Ethernet port. Okay, so I'm going to click on wired node. Just click once. Then if you just drag your mouse, you can click n number of times to place that many number of devices. As simple as that. Okay, so I'm going to just click once, 2, 3, 4, wherever I want, right? And so, at whatever coordinates you're placing, it gets recorded. Okay, so this is somewhere you just click and, drop it. And if you want to stop placing the device, press escape button.
Sir,
you're done.
Whether all are connected, sir. I think Agarwal has some problem. Shall we check, sir?
Sir, got it done, sir. Logged in.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, guys, yeah. So that is the next thing. So I should not be in a hurry. How many are facing issues? Now it's your time to raise your voice. Harshit Kumar, can't connect. System number 13. Still you're not able to connect. So what's the error that you're getting? So what I want,
So it's still showing that please wait for the remote side to accept your session request.
Oh, it says to accept your session. That should ideally not come because we're given the password to do this. Okay, just do one thing. Okay, just do one thing.
Sir?
Please talk to Anand sir over the phone. Yeah, Ratish. Harshit, I would request you to talk to lab in charge Anand. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So I think you can get sorted. He might probably give you he will try to rectify it. If it does not work, then you again raise your voice here. I will give you another AnyDesk ID. Okay?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. Ratish, anything else?
Sir,
Sai Maniganda.
I'm
Yeah.
also contacting the lab technician, sir, with respect to the response in the chat box.
Okay. Okay. Sai Maniganda, what is the issue that you are getting?
Sir, SDL set sir. Win 10053 sir. Win status.
Oh, that WinSock error. Okay. So Maniganda, what you do is I'm recording this session. Okay. Now this is this issue that you is having is a peculiar one, right? So we will try to do this. So what you do is just follow what I'm teaching now. Somehow your laptop has to be fixed, right? Anyone else? Anyone else? All of you are fine then? Okay. So I just got connected. Can you repeat the procedure with the batch file? Sai Abhishek, the procedure is simple. Now, once you are inside, what you should do is you have to go to the D drive. Okay. So the document has. So you go to the D drive, there will be a batch file. Copy that batch file, right? Copy that batch file and place it in your desktop. Because going forward, you'll be using that login, right? And it will be there in the desktop. Double click on that batch file. It will ask you, this pop-up will come. It will ask you to enter the license server IP. If everything is blank, type 172.16.1.92 and click OK. Okay, once you have set that, then you're connected. Okay, so I'm not going to hurry. Don't worry, don't get panic. We will get it slowly. We will have this task continued in the next week also. But I'm very much concerned that cases like Sai Maniganda, WinSock 5003, right? That's the error that you're getting, right? Sai Maniganda, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So that you've been facing this issue in the 1 second. Okay, so who's 44? Jami Yashwant, are you facing an issue?
Sir, I am having the shortcut file, but I am not having the original file for NetSim.
Okay, so Jami Yashwant, you have been given another ID now. So that is going to be 52 kudukrீங்களா sir? அது என்கிட்ட இருக்கு சார், அது என்கிட்ட இருக்கு, don't worry. So okay, for Jami Yashwant, you are now going to connect to
Okay, sir, I will connect.
Have you got that? So Jami Yashwant, this is the AnyDesk ID. Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Don't forget about this. This is the system number. So you're going to use this AnyDesk ID to connect, and the password will be ANL lab at 52, right?
Okay, sir.
Okay. So if you're facing an issue, Yashwant, just in the WhatsApp group. Okay, but if you're connected, let me know. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Is it connecting or what? Just try connecting that. Okay, so Jami Yashwant, okay, Sai Maniganda, please listen through mine, and then we will see what we can do for yours. So yours is the only case like that. Harshit Kumar, what's your status?
Yes, I put in the chat box. I got connected. Sir.
Very good. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Fine. Now there are some voices being raised that some are not connected at all. So that is something which we are quite concerned of. சொல்லுங்க சார். சார் நீங்க வாட்ஸ்அப் குரூப்ல just follow it up சார். இந்த பசங்கள கரெக்ட்டா. Okay. Okay guys. So can I continue? Others? Is that fine? So can we go and start doing that? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So I have now pulled 4 devices, right? I want all of you to follow this. See, every time I pull a device, right, I get an ID assigned. You see that each whatever it is, whether it is an end device, whether it's a link, NetSim assigns an identifier to that. This is just for our tracking. Okay. So now you have to now pull 6 devices and place it on the environment window. I'm just going to do with 4. Now to create a star, network, star topology based network, I'm now going to use a switch. So click on the switch, right? So the beauty here in the simulation tool is, just imagine it just has n number of IO ports. So this n can be scaled to any number. So that's the idea here. So now switch has got an ID 5. So in what order you are placing the devices, you get an ID assigned to that. Okay. So what is next? What is pending to complete this LAN?
So the link.
So yeah, what should I do next? Anyone? So I place the devices. What should I do next?
So links.
Sir, interconnect,
Yeah.
sir.
I have to use the link. So if you're not going to use the router, so click on the link. So there is 2 types of links that is being modeled here. Click on the wired link. So this comes as a straight line. So what you do is, you know that you have to connect to one end of the device through the RJ45 port, and the other end will be your switch, right? So you can do this n number of times. You just have to keep continuing as many times as you want, and you want to stop it, you have to just press the escape button. That is it. So keep doing this for your 6 devices that is there. This is what I have given there, right? Select the device and click on the envelope multiple times for placing. Press escape to avoid placing any more device or link. And all the device and the links will have an ID attached to track these devices and the links, right? So we have done this step. Whatever that is I'm speaking, I have, documented it. So you could even check it offline. So link has an ID. So link IDs, node IDs are there. So if you have done till that, we have now designed. So the first step is done. We have now designed a LAN. But I can't just run and do my simulation. I have to configure this network. So if you have done till this, your next step will be to go and edit the properties of these devices and links. So how to do that? You can right click on any of these nodes or the links. So if you right click on the node, it shows properties, change icon, remove all that. So you can click on properties. So you go to the node level properties and configure that particular node. Similarly, you can click on the link, right click on the link, you will get the link properties. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on the node property, and you will see a window like this. So it's the beauty in NetSim is you just have to go and feed the values. By default, it will have some values. You want to change the values, you can do that. That is the beauty here. Is that okay? So any doubts here so far? I hope you're able to do that. So you're right clicking on the node. Okay. So the general properties of the node is like this. What's the name of the node, type of the device, right? What is X and Y coordinate it is placed and all this. So there's a lot of things. The beauty here in NetSim is it also interfaces with Wireshark. Have you heard of this Wireshark tool?
Yes, sir.
Anyone? So Wireshark is basically a packet sniffing tool. Just go and explore. We're not going to use that, but if you are interested, you can explore. So we are talking about packet formats, right? Frame format and all that, right? Real format, how it is. You take your live packets, you can use this Wireshark, and you can see what's frame, details and all that, right? So NetSim can generate, packets in that format, right? And like you're emulating your real packet. right? And you can see it in the Wireshark tool. So that feature is also there. But anyway, I'm just telling you that these are things that are there. Now, any node you know is going to be built with the TCP/IP protocol stack. So layer-wise properties you can go and set. By default, the protocols and the default values of the parameters are given. You want to override and change it, you can still do, right? That's how NetSim is basically done. So if you look at the left side, every layer wise there are properties. Now this is an Ethernet node, which means the physical layer, right, data link layer. All these are pre-configured with the Ethernet standard, right? So IEEE 802.3 is the standard being used. There is a MAC address already being pre-assigned. You don't need to do. IP address is also auto-assigned. We are not going to go and assign IP and all in this, unlike how we did in Cisco Packet Tracer. So I've created a LAN. It creates in its own subnetwork, so you don't need to really get bothered. So what I am now asking you all to do is, I just want you guys to go to the transport layer, right? If you click on the transport layer, you have now heard of two protocols in transport layer, right? What is that two protocols you have heard of? TCP and UDP, correct? So, oh, Jami Yashwant, thanks for that update. Good. So, what I want you guys to do is, see, NS2 we have been using only UDP. TCP is slightly complex. It's quite reliable and all this. We are still going to continue using UDP for our simulation in NetSim 2. So, by default, TCP and UDP are both enabled. Right? So every node, I want you guys to go and disable TCP alone. Right? So you just have to click this checkbox and disable it, which means you're not enable the TCP protocol in that particular node. But UDP, you have been setting it by default. So UDP is going to be your underlying transport protocols. And the beauty of this is, see, there are a lot of fields here, correct? And so you want to know what does it field denote? What is the idea behind that? You can click on the eye icon that is corresponding to that field. It means information related to that field. You have the documentation for that. So I click on the eye icon, it will tell you TCP, Transmission Control Protocol. What is it all about, right? So every parameter in a protocol and all this, which are configurable, you can go and edit, and you can also go and learn about it. So that is the beauty in the NetSim license software, right? So now we are using UDP. UDP by default, they have given some segment size, right? Don't change that value. I will tell you why this value is like this later, but just have a note about it. So what you do is you have unchecked it, right? You're not going to change the other node properties here. Let's all be there. IPv4 is running, Ethernet is all the same, so there's nothing there. So just uncheck this and click accept. Once you click accept, the properties of the node 1 is set. Please repeat this for all the nodes where you go right click on it and disable the TCP. Just have the UDP enabled. This is what I am doing in all the nodes. So if you have 6 nodes, go and uncheck the TCP there, right? So that is something as the first thing that I want to do. So if you have done that, I want you guys to just put your status done. I hope I'm not hurrying. If I'm fast, please feel free to stop me. So what I've done now is these two one, right? By UDP is the default, so I've told you all that, right? Okay. Good. So all are following. Thanks for that. Now, so let me go now. So we saw the node level properties. Okay. But now I wanted to configure this links. I want to know what is the bandwidth, what is the propagation delay, like how we had the duplex link, in NS2, we set the bandwidth of that, right? What is the max link speed it can support and all that, right? So similarly, you can do that here. So right click on the link, go to properties. So by default, if you pull a wired link, it's a point-to-point link, it's a full duplex link, right? And there are a lot of parameters, right? So full duplex, you have your uplink and the downlink, right? Which means what is the bandwidth of that? What's the link speed? The capacity of that link speed it can support. I want you guys to set it to 5 Mbps. So if you change the uplink, the downlink also gets reflected. So this is a bi-directional link, uplink and the downlink. So change it to 5 Mbps. This is the first thing that I want you guys to do. Have you heard of bit error rate? Anyone? BER. What is BER? Bit error rate. I think you've gone through DC. So bit error rate is what? Over the link, if it's a noisy link, your bits are getting corrupted. What order it is getting corrupted, right? Now, if you send 1 out of 1000 bits are getting corrupted, that's how you're modeling your link bit error rate, right? Then you say 1 by 1000, which is 10 power minus 3 is the bit error rate of that link. You want to model the error link, and BER is one value. So don't change it now, but I have a task which comes later where I'm asking you to increase the bit error rate across the link and see how it impacts the throughput. Okay, so that we will do it later. And the propagation delay you're aware of. So consider your link as a pipe, right? So water flowing. So the length of the link and the speed at which the signal flows, right? So that's the propagation delay for the bit to propagate from one end and reach to the other end. That is given to be 5 microseconds. You want to understand about all of this, you can click on the I and also understand about these fields. So once you have set to 5 Mbps, reflect this property for all the links manually. Okay, I'm sorry for that, you have to do it. Okay, so go ahead and change and set to 5 Mbps uplink and downlink. So the bidirectional link will be of the same config. So click that. So once you have done this, I have set the link speed, the bandwidth of all these links. So if you have done that, we have done the node level properties, we have done the link level properties. What is pending now? First I said design the network. I have designed, I pulled the devices, I connected them, I designed the network. Second, I said configure the network. So I went on to the node properties, I went on to the link properties, I have done that. The third step is what?
So model the traffic.
So
Model the traffic. So I have to now bring in who are going to be the clients who are going to generate traffic, or is it going to be bidirectional or whatever it is, right? So what sort of model you're going to use. Now what NetSim has done is, now this is at a node, say everything is, now let's imagine like this, okay? So say the 4th node, for you the 6th node is a server. All these are clients, imagine like that. Now what I want to do is, if you open the document, okay? So we are going to study the performance of the LAN by changing various parameters of the network. The parameters that you're going to vary, right? Look at the first task. You're going to increase the traffic. What do you mean by increasing the traffic? I want to increase the packet generation rate of my application, which means a client is generating traffic, right? Is generating a traffic. I'm using a traffic model. Say I'm using constant bitrate traffic. Okay, so you know that constant bitrate basically has 2 parameters. You've already done that in NS2. What are the 2 parameters in CBR that you can vary and do? What do you mean by constant bitrate model? Okay, see, okay. The point of Cisco Packet Tracer, yeah, it's just emulating your no Cisco devices, and you can do this real time and all that. Here, the idea in NetSim is you can go and change the protocol libraries. That's the beauty there, right? So the entire implementation, you can go and do modifications of the protocol code. But I think in Cisco Packet Tracer, you can't ideally do that, and it's more of that real-time emulation is something which this ping command and all that you can't do, you know, in NetSim. In Cisco Packet Tracer you can do that. Just go and explore this even further, but this is the main things as part of the difference that you see here. One thing is, yes, you wanted to take it forward to look at the protocol implementations and all that. NetSim basically does this because it's more of a simulation tool that we are trying to build here. Okay, so that's one thing. Okay, so what was I asking? Question here, CBR. CBR, if you look at constant bit rate, there were 2 things that we were trying to vary, right? Ideally, what your client, there's an application, you know, which is generating, you know, traffic at a constant rate. So the packet size is fixed, and these packets are generated at a constant intra-arrival time. So every 5 milliseconds you were generating a packets of fixed size, same size. So it's a constant distribution that we are looking at. The inter-arrival time between the successive packets is a constant distribution, right? So this is something which we are going to repeat using it in our NetSim. So what we do is now to model the traffic, you're not going to the application layer here. There is an application icon that you have to click. You're not going to place it inside the environment window. You have to place it outside the environment window, because this is a global property that you're trying to set to the nodes that are there in the simulation. So click on the application icon and place it on top of the window, environment window. So place it anywhere at the top, and then right click, go to the properties. Okay, so you see that, okay, you want to add any number of applications, you could just click the add, it will keep creating, and you want to remove it, you can keep doing that. Okay, so I'm just going to do for one, but I will now extend to, I will teach you this, then you will have to do it for multiple applications. So look at the first task, try to understand the task here. You are going to increase the traffic. What you mean is increasing the packet generation rate for a fixed number of applications. So what you will be doing here is, you are fixing the destination node as say some particular node. Only one node is going to be a destination, which means there are going to be multiple clients, right? Which is basically going to generate traffic to the server. Okay, so server is fixed. Say the last node for you, the node 6 is going to be the server, right? Now I'm asking you to fix the number of applications, which means the nodes which are generating, the client nodes which are generating the traffic from its application, right? We are fixing the number of applications. That is the first thing that we are doing. So the number of applications here is 3 nodes, right? And these 3 nodes are generating traffic, and the model that we are using is a constant bit rate. So what we are now going to do is, we are going to basically vary the parameters of these application traffic. The packet generation rate, we are going to keep increasing. So as these nodes generate more traffic on the LAN, the switch has to basically, there is multiple traffic flows coming. I hope you remember the star topology we did in NS2. We had multiple traffic flows. The switch basically has to switch the data coming from the multiple traffic flows. He has to buffer, right? There will be some switching latency involved, and he has to send it through the bottleneck link, because all are trying to reach out to the server. So when these nodes packet generation rates is increased, which means his packet inter-arrival time is very shorter, he's generating more packets, the rate of generation is increased, and there is a point where say a bottleneck rises, right? The switch starts to buffer up more. So there are properties in the switch. I have not shown much of the properties of the switch, so let me cancel this. So if you go and right click on the property, we're not changing any properties of the switch, but if you look at every port of the switch, right, there's a lot of things that you have. Every port you have a buffer, right? There's a latency, switching latency involved. The switching mode is store and forward. So there are a lot of things. The spanning tree running, a lot of things that are there which you can basically play with. So there is a sufficient buffering being happening. So, but more buffering that happens, it's going to affect your end-to-end throughput, right? So, which basically means what? There's more load on the LAN. Switch is buffering more because the link connecting from the switch to the destination. Now this is 5 Mbps. All these are 5 Mbps, right? All are generating at 5 Mbps to the server. This link can only carry 5 Mbps, correct? Which means the switch starts to buffer up more. So the max throughput that it can achieve can only be 5 Mbps, right? That's the max that I can achieve. And you are generating more, right? And your link might support, but the link that is connecting to the server. So ultimately now I can't exceed 5 Mbps. And so there could be more buffering happening. And if your buffer exceeds, then there could be all these overflows, right? So this is what we are going to do. We are going to increase the performance of the LAN. Increase the traffic on the LAN and see what's going to be the throughput impact, what's going to be the delay impact and all that, right? I hope you're able to follow this. So let's go on. I have not told you what to do. So go on to the properties. So by default application 1 comes. So any number of applications, as you know. So here the type of application we are going to use as default CBR, but there are a lot of applications that you can do. You want to know about it, you can click on the eye icon, right? And there's a name by default it gives. What is the source ID? what is a destination ID? These two I have to be careful. So my destination ID for my simulation is going to be fixed. For you, what will be the destination ID? Can you tell me?
6.
Node 6, right? That's the server which you have to fix it. But the source now, I'm going to make it say 1 to 4. I'm going to have only one application traffic, but you are going to do for the first task. The first task says the number of applications should be 3, right? So 3 nodes are going to generate its traffic, right? So you're setting the first application property here. So between 1 to 4, as soon as you start the simulation, it will start generating the traffic, and it will end only at this time. But don't change the end time here. I will tell you where to change this. So just keep it like that. What is important to us is these two things. Okay, one is your packet size, the other is your intra-arrival time. Can you tell me what is these two parameters pertain to CBR? So what's the default values given? Anyone?
1460.
So what does it mean here? Packet size is 1460 bytes, right? It's a constant. Packet size is constant, right? And the intra-arrival time. What do you mean by intra-arrival time? The the packets that are consecutively generated, the intra-arrival time between the successive packets, right? It's a constant distribution that's basically set to 20,000 microseconds. So the first default case here is, now why is it set to 1460 bytes and not directly 1500 bytes? Can anyone tell me? Why is it not rounded off to 1500 bytes? And why is it 1460 bytes in specific? Can anyone guess? Just try to make a guess why my packets, my application is that's generating is being set to a value of 1460 bytes, and why is it not 1500 bytes?
Sir, for header files also.
Perfect, yeah. So there is a header. So the payload, the data that you have, you know that it is passing layer wise. The application layer that is generating a payload, right? And every layer keeps adding its header. And so what the idea that Netsim has done is, okay, at the end it goes from the physical layer payload, you look at all the headers that are added. Now it makes you to closer to 1500 bytes because every header has an header address being added to that. So that was the idea. So let's not change that packet size, but instead what we will do is we will play with the intra-arrival time value. So what is the current intra-arrival time that is there? What do you mean by 20,000 microseconds? 20 milliseconds. So every 20 milliseconds I am generating a packet. Let's take it as 1500 for our simplicity here. Every 20 milliseconds I am generating a packet of 1500 bytes. So in 1 second, how many, can you tell me the same calculation that we did? What will be the rate of generation of my particular application? I want you to calculate the data rate. My application is generating traffic. What's the rate of it, right? So 1500 bytes, right? Every 20 milliseconds, I generate one packet, right? So in 1 second, how many packets I would have generated?
7,500 packets, bytes.
75,000.
So how many packets? 50 packets, right?
Yes, sir, 50 packets per second.
50 packets per second I will generate. Okay. So one packet is basically 1500 bytes. So yeah, correct. So the 50 into 1500, I want in terms of bits per second. So can you multiply by 8 and tell me what will be the value?
So 60 KB.
What is it?
60 KB, sir.
No, 15 into 5, 75.
600, sir.
What is it?
60,000.
60,000. Can you talk in terms of MBBS? Convert it such a way that I can express it in MBBS.
0.6, sir.
Very good. Okay. 0.6 MBBS. Okay. So this is per node. this particular application that node is generating is 0.6 Mbps. I have set the link that is connecting, right? So if I do this, you see a violet color coming in. So this is a virtual link. It's shown just for the display that one is trying to send to 4. So the link connecting from 1 to the switch is 5 Mbps, and the link connecting from switch to the wired node is again 5 Mbps. So I could carry up to 5 Mbps. I'm generating only 0.6 Mbps, no problem, right? So that's not the case. But if I keep reducing reducing this value of my intra-arrival time, I know that I will generate more traffic. So what you're typically doing is first iteration I'm showing you, where by default we are having it to 20 milliseconds. But you will now then your next iteration, you will change it to 15 milliseconds, then you will change it to 10, then you will change it to 5. So if you change it to 5 per node application, what's the rate you will have to calculate? But I have made my task easier. I am making your task difficult because I am only now sticking to one application. You are going to make add 2 more applications and make it totally 3 applications. That's the question given to you. So each node, right? So 3 applications is fixed. Right. So first iteration, all these applications are generating packet at the intra-arrival time of 20 milliseconds. Okay. So how do you do that? So I have shown it for one case. If you want to add another application, so click on add. Second application comes, go to that and change the properties of this. So from the second node to the fourth node. Right. Now by default, we are not changing anything. That's the first iteration. Then I add one more application. So you see the third application from the third node to the fourth node. Okay, so once you add 3 applications and click accept, you will see that you see 3 nodes are trying to send the application data to the server, right? And it can't directly send, it has to go via the switch to reach out to that. So which means the switch is now getting traffic from multiple traffic flows at the same time. And so he has to switch the data coming from all these incoming flows to the bottleneck link. Will this link become really a bottleneck? When will that case happen? As I keep increasing the traffic generation rate per node, right, and the switch is getting, at a load where its aggregate incoming rate exceeds, right, what it could service out, then it starts to buffer up, right? And will that affect the application throughput is what we have to analyze here. That's what you're going to do. I hope you're following that. So what do you mean by application throughput? I have given you the slide, network metrics. You should open this network metrics slide to look at the formula that is there. So there is a difference between application throughput and link throughput. I will teach you shortly. I don't want to load you so much. Keep that in. But I'm not going to run with 3 applications. You can run with 3 applications for 6 nodes. I will just run with 1 application and show you. Okay. So click on accept. Right, once you have said this. So all of you have done for your case, you could have it for 3 applications, 6 nodes, and done in the chat box. But I will just explain you for one case that I am doing. I'll give you time because I don't want to waste your time also. In the meantime, if you're facing any issues, please let me know. If you have any doubts in the configuration, please let me know. If I have fast in anything, you want me to repeat certain thing, you can ask me. So go to the properties. We are doing the first task. The first task is basically to increase the packet generation rate for fixed number of applications. The number of applications that you're fixing is 3, right? And for the first iteration, you are setting all the application intra-arrival time to 20 milliseconds. You're not changing anything. You're just having the same thing. Okay. Okay, I think that's a good one. Yeah. So you can paste your screenshots with your register number. Ratish, I think, can we get started like that?
Okay, sir. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay. Yeah, so going forward over pasting using this thing, put your register number also so that we can appreciate your work. Okay, good. Right, so now we are going to run it. 1 minute, Pratish, I'm going to mute you. I'm getting echo. Okay, so let me do this. I'm going to click on accept. Now, don't directly click on run simulation. Okay, there are certain things that we have to do. So you see in your thing that there is something called packet trace. There will be event trace if you're using a standard version, and there will be dynamic metrics. Just like how we have to use trace all, nam trace all, like
Excuse
that.
me?
It's yeah.
So how many applications do we have to add?
See, that's what we have. You have to add 3 applications, 3 nodes
Okay, so
generating traffic. So the number of applications is going to be 3. I have only done it for 1. So I want you to go. So I just had by default 1 application. I want you to go and add 2 more, and make it such a way that the node 2 is generating to 4, node 3 is generating to the destination, right? So in your case, it's all generating to 6. Understood? Every node application is generating at a constant bit rate, the packet size 1460, and intra-arrival time is 20,000 microseconds. So you're going to do your 1 run. This is only going to be 1 run that you will do. Then you have to repeat your simulation again and go to each of these applications and change this value. So if you have 3 applications, you will basically go and change to all these applications to say 15 milliseconds. That will be your next iteration, but not now. First set of readings you have to first iteration you have to run and store the results, because I'm going to even more slightly increase the task complexity. So you understood? The one who asked this question,
yes, sir,
have you
yes, sir,
understood
got
what?
it, sir. Yes, sir, got
Okay,
it.
okay, yeah, okay. So now what I want to do is, before you run the simulation, I want you to turn on the trace. What do you mean by packet trace? Packet trace is logging all the events that's happening, right? Layer-wise events, the log file, right? Even NetSim generates a trace file. So you want to generate the trace file? Yes. Click on it. All these attributes gets saved in an Excel file. You just click OK. We are not going to go and open and analyze like how we did in NS2. That headache is gone now. Just click on OK. And event trace, just leave it. If it's not there, also don't bother. Click on dynamic metrics. Why I want this to be enabled? You want the plots? Yes. Then you have to enable it. Right? All the plots related to my, okay, I want to know that at the link level, the stats. At the application level, what's happening, the stats. So link metrics, application metrics, the throughput I want to plot, delay I want to plot, right? Everything that I want the values to come, all these values to be plotted. You have to click OK to have these values. If you don't click OK, the values will not be plotted. Okay. Now click on the run simulation. Don't just click OK, please wait. Okay. There are some multiple things that we have to.
Sir, could you repeat the last step again?
Sure, okay. So what I told is, see, before running, you just have to click packet trace and click OK. You are enabling the packet trace, right? Packet trace is like your log file, okay? So we have to enable it. So when you click OK, the trace files gets generated. Now, dynamic metrics is basically you want NetSim to plot graphs for you, okay? Then you have to enable it. Then only NetSim will plot the graphs for you. You want to plot the throughput graph. You want to plot the link level statistics and all that, right? You want to plot it. Then you have to enable this dynamic metrics. What you have to do is just click on it and click OK. It will plot. Okay, it will plot all the throughputs and all whatever that you want. That's it. So once you have enabled these 2 buttons, you can then click on run simulation. Is that fine? Understood?
Yes.
One who asked the question now. Okay, fine. So now before you run the simulation, just don't click OK. There are 2 tabs that you see here. Go to the IP ARP configuration. Here, I want you guys to disable the static ARP. What is ARP? Anyone? What is ARP?
So forgot the full form, but used to find the data, the MAC address using the logical
Sir,
address.
automatic route.
No. Address comes. So ARP, the first letter A should be address.
Address resolution for.
Great, yeah. Address resolution protocol. So the idea here is, yeah, you wanted to find the IP associated to the MAC, right? So any device who wants to find the IP, MAC address of that next top device, right? He basically sends an ARP request, right? And then you get the reply from the node whose IP matches. He replies back with your MAC, right? I want that process to happen. Static ARP by default is enabled in NetSim, which means every node will have a ARP table where it will store all the MAC pertaining to that, and it maintains this cache. In dynamic ARP, if you enable it, it finds out it and then stores it in the table, ARP table. Okay, so let's let that happen. So if you're going to disable static ARP, meaning ARP request reply process keeps going on. Okay, so once you disable this, come now here. Let's not run it for 100 seconds and all this. So let's run it just for 10 seconds. So once you have done, so these two, disable, and then simulation time is going to be 10 seconds. So all of us are going to fix the simulation time to 10 seconds, and then we're going to run the simulation. So when you click OK, we are all going to now load the server. So what's going to happen now is license check happens, the metric calculations all happens. Then NetSim is now going to open me two different windows. One window will be your animation window, like your NAM output. The other window will be your metrics plot window, right? So now you see that I think it has run for you also. In the worst case, some would have had a crash attempt. If that has happened, it's a concern for me. Anyone having such kind of an issue, you just have to. You're facing it? No?
Sir,
Okay.
it stopped percent and then it's not continuing more than that, sir. It's showing loaded till 61%.
What happened?
It's showing loaded 61%, like completed 61%, sir. After that, it just stopped.
Yeah, did you run it for 10 seconds or how long are you running it for?
10 seconds only.
Okay. You're able to close it and then repeat it again?
Yes, sir, I'm able to close it, sir.
Try that and see. Okay, good. Meanwhile, I'll be doing this. So what the point that I'm trying to convey now is there are two windows. Now look at my cursor, mouse cursor, please, all of you. Now I'm bringing it to the bottommost to show you that there are multiple windows that's getting opened, right? One is your main window. Now it has turned out to an animation window. The second window is your metrics, which is plotting your values. So you will be having a slightly different case because you're running it for multiple applications. Now I'm going to just play and show you. This is like a network animator. So when I play this, I see packets are flowing. What are all the packets that are going? Everything gets recorded here in detail. You can see all this, discrete time, what's happening, right? So what happened initially? Can anyone tell me what happened initially? If you want me to slide it back and show you what happened. There's an ARP request going. Every node wants to find what is the MAC address of the server. So they send an ARP request. ARP request is basically a broadcast request. So each node is trying to broadcast, put a broadcast address and send the ARP. The switch, when it gets a broadcast destination address, the destination address being all ones, it does not know where to do. It will flood across all the outgoing ports. So someone will receive it and they will see if it matches. So the server matches its IP, so it sends an ARP reply. Once the ARP reply comes, the CBR packets goes, right? And so the case that's happening here is, I think how many applications I had, I didn't see that. Okay, so the CBR packets basically flows, and if you see a green color packet coming in, that means the packet is not errored. But if you see over the link, there is this LED blinking as red, then that packet has got errored over the link. If your bit error rate of the link is high, then there could be a high probability that it's a noisy link and the bits can get corrupted, and that particular packet would be received with errors. So these are certain ways to analyze from the animation point of view. Great. Okay. So you're getting that, but there is a lot of things that happens in the metrics. Okay, good. So what you have to do now is, most importantly, we are interested in looking at the throughput values, right? So if I get onto the metrics, right, there are a lot of graphs, values and all this there. Okay, each window you can expand and see, right? You can go to the detailed view of that window and see. But but if you're opening it up and you're losing track of what window I am in, I want to restore it back to the original view. Then see the left side of my cursor that you see there. There is a restore to original view. So if you click that, it takes you back to the default case. So what is all these multiple windows that you see here? Now, one is basically something related to the network level. You want to know the metrics. A network metrics window comes in. Application level, you want to note down all the metrics values. Application metrics table comes in. So this application metrics is what is of concern to us. You have to note down the values, right? So what you see here is, okay, I have created more, okay, 3 applications, right? Okay. So, so you are basically saying that each application has an ID, right? And the application throughput is basically being, the value of the application throughput is displayed here, and the application delay is being displayed here. So now my next question to you is this. I think I'm talking too much. What is application throughput? Can anyone give me the definition? We are only going to do task 1 today. We will continue this experiment next week also, since it's the first thing that we're doing in NetSim. Can anyone tell me what is the definition of application throughput? Don't refer the PPT. Anyone try? You know what's the definition of throughput, right? What is throughput?
So the amount of data that can be transferred in unit time.
Per unit time. Amount of data that you can transfer per unit time. Let me add one more point to this. Amount of data that you can successfully transmit per unit time. Through, right? Per unit time, per second. So throughput, we generally say, okay, in Mbps, whatever that's the case. Now our link can support up to 5 Mbps. Is your throughput 5 Mbps? Max that you can have is 5 Mbps. So that's on the case here. Now there is a differentiation here. I'm calling this as application throughput, right? Application throughput. We also see link throughput. So what is the difference now between application throughput and link throughput? Can you make a guess?
Sir, how much can the application handle?
So here in our scenario, what's happening? I think, before explaining that, now we are in the animation window. Okay, where is your design window? It's gone away. You want to get back to your design window. Please, all of you, please stop. Just follow what I'm doing. Now, look at my cursor. On the left-hand top, I am there. Click on the view network, right? So you want to stop this, you can stop and all that. Click on the view network. So you go back to your design window. But now it will be in a, you can't edit this window because it will be only in a read-only mode. You already designed something and you want to edit now. NetSim says click on this edit button if you want to change the existing design. So click on the edit. By default, when I click the edit, it is being designed to show this pop-up. Hey, you have not saved the experiment here. Would you like to save it? So all of you now please save your experiment. So click the save. You know that you are saving your experiment in your remote desktop that you have connected. So if you want to continue it in next week, you should just reload that experiment. So I want you all to save your experiment. I am saving it in my local documents. You will be saving it in your local remote desktop documents. So whatever name that you want to give, you can give that. This is a folder that gets created. So save it. Okay. So I think if you have done that, now I'll just tell you what's the difference between application throughput and the link throughput. So here there is an application which is generating the traffic. That traffic through this link, goes to the switch, through this link, goes to this server. So the application throughput meaning this application for its data to pass through the links to reach to the destination. That is what we are concerned for the application throughput. Each link can provide some throughput, right? the max throughput that it could offer is whatever bandwidth it supports. That is the max throughput that it could offer. So the definition of application throughput and the link throughput, now you can see the PPT. Okay, so application throughput is the total data delivered to the destination, right, into 8. So you have in bytes calculation, you multiply that by 8 divided by the entire simulation time. So how NetSim calculates this, you're running your simulation for 10 seconds, right? In this 10 seconds, how much data is delivered to the destination? By that application's data has been delivered to the destination. So that per second you can calculate what is the application throughput. So this application throughput is going to be not just depending on your link throughput, but also the intermediate devices. If your switch is buffering up more, the application throughput can suffer, though the link throughput can be high. Okay, so the case is this: what is link throughput? Over the link you are taking the stats. In that link, how much bytes have been transmitted over the link divided by the simulation time. So that's called link throughput. So I am interested now to look at the application throughput values. Okay, and what do you mean by application delay? Every packet has a delay end to end. It has to pass through intermediate devices through the links. So propagation delay, processing delay, queuing delay, all that gets accounted. But ultimately the packet has to reach to the destination. You take the sum of all the packets delay divided by the number of packets generated by the application. That will give you the application delay. These two values is what we are going to note down. Okay. So if you go and look at the NetSim window, right, I am going to again run it because I have actually done that. You also have to do, since you're following what I have done. So I'm going to click again run. So someone was facing that issue, right, Dhananjaya? What happened now for you?
Sir, I resolved it, sir. I think
what happened?
I think it just crashed momentarily, sir. It worked after that.
Okay, fine. So I'm going to rerun this again. I hope all of you have saved your experiment. So yeah, the game now is going to be open to you for the next 15 minutes. What you are going to do now is, you're going to now copy paste those values that you're going to get from the metrics. So if you look at here, I will now teach you this case. So you see that if I click on every application, I will see the throughput graphs. Now this is a moving average window. Over the time, you see that the application throughput is around 0.6 Mbps, right? It's something around 0.58, 0.57. Every application you see, the throughput is not getting really affected. Whatever you're generating, some propagation delay is there, some slight, not much queuing because there's no bottleneck now, right? And all of them are nearing to that, right? So 0.58, 0.57. So all these plots you see over the time, you see the throughput is, constantly that value, right? So you don't, you can take a screenshot of this entire window, but I'm now more interested in the specifics of this. So maximize this application metrics, right? Use your keyboard and select all these values. Use your key button. I want you guys to select all these values that you are having there. Yeah. So what I want you to do is copy all these values in an Excel. This is what I'm going to ask you to do. So copy all these values in an Excel. Give Control-C. Open an Excel and save these values. Why I am asking you to save these values in an Excel is, I'm going to ask you to compute what is the average throughput of the applications. Each individual application throughput you are able to see, right? I want you to take the average throughput values of the application and the average delay values of the application. This is what I want you to do. So you should now do an additional task. I got it hanged. 1 minute. I hope you understood what I'm trying to say. So every iteration when you're going to do, you are basically going to, copy paste and do this and run a procedure of formula where you're going to take the average values. Average value of not just your application throughput, but also your delay. So I hope you know Excel. So, so the delay value is being noted down here. Please be careful of what is doing. This is for the iteration 1 where your packet interval, that inter-arrival time value, right? That we set it to 20 milliseconds. You are noting down the value. Then you are going to repeat your simulation where all these applications are generating at 15 milliseconds. Note down, compute what is the average application throughput, what's the average packet delay. Then do it for 10 milliseconds. Then do it for 5 milliseconds. Then plot the graph with the average application throughput versus what? Any idea? The packet inter-arrival time. I am now going to take you away from NetSim, right, and do an analysis that as my x-axis is going to be packet inter-arrival time. I have been doing for 5, 10, 15 and 20 milliseconds. For this value, what is happening to my average application throughput? This graph I want you to manually plot using your Excel. I hope insert chart you can do. You just have to have the x-axis value 5, 10, 15, 20 intra-arrival time and whatever value that you're getting for the average, right? And then plot. The second plot will be average packet delay. It should be more of average application packet delays, right? So every application versus packet intra-arrival time. So this is going to be the task that you're going to do today. Any doubts you have, you let me know. So what I'm asking you to do is go to the NetSim. Okay, I'll restore back to the original view. So what I did is I copy these values. You want to know more about the network metrics, you can do that. There are 4 links that are there. Every link throughput you want to see how many packets data got transmitted, 499 packets in link 1. Link 2 I see 998 packets. Link 3 I see 497. Link 4 I see 997. Why all this is happening? You can analyze. One link is experiencing more packets because it is multiplexing from different flows, right? This is the sum of all the link level packets that has been there. Out of which how many packets got errored, that detail comes in. Are you only sending data packets? No, I'm sending even control packets, ARP request, acknowledgement, all these are control packets. That count is also getting recorded. This is not needed for our case now, but for our understanding, I'm just telling you this. This is what you have to note down. If you want even more a detailed view of that, you can even click on the detailed view. You will see from source 1 to destination 4. That's the application throughput we are computing. 499 packets have been generated by that application, of which 495 was received. Right? Few packets because of packet errors, right? All that, or even buffer overflow will not happen. So that's getting recorded here. Understood the first task? How many understood the first task? Any doubts you have? So I am now opened the game to you for the next 15-10 minutes. Yeah, Agarwal says fine. If you have any doubts, please raise your voice. I want you to plot. Now understand the task 1. I want you to calculate the average application throughput, right, and average delay of the application packets versus the packet inter-arrival time. This is a manual thing that you have to do. But how many runs you have to do in NetSim now? You have only done the first run. You have to now repeat your runs 3 more times. But this next time when you're doing, all the 3 applications you change it to 15 milliseconds. Take the values, put it in your Excel. Then go again, change to 10 milliseconds, note down the values. Then for 5 milliseconds, note down the values. Look at the application, individual application throughput. Is every individual application throughput the same, or is it increasing, or is it decreasing? What is happening? I can only deliver 5 Mbps, max I can do that. But am I generating more? What is happening to my average application throughput? This is what you're doing. Understood? This is for the first case. Should I do it 2 more times? The answer is yes. You have only done for applications which are generating at a packet generation inter-arrival time. The packet interval is 20 milliseconds, right? You know every application is generating 0.6 Mbps generating. The application throughput was around 0.58 or something of each application. Then next iteration, each application now is generating where it's generating packets at every 15 milliseconds. That's the second iteration. Third iteration is for 10 milliseconds. So you have to do it for 3 more times. You have done it for 20. I want you to do it for 15, 10 and 5. Clear, Sai?
Yes, sir. Sir, so do it for different times and calculate these values differently, sir.
Calculate the values differently, meaning what?
I
See,
mean,
you're
separately.
Separately, yes. So what you're doing is, I have now copied paste the first case. I calculated the average application throughput and average delay, right? So similarly, you will do it for your, the second 15 milliseconds, whatever value that you're getting. I'm just copying pasting. Note down what, find out what is the average application throughput for 15 milliseconds. Similarly for 10, similarly for 5, right? Take those average application throughput values, plot that. This is what you're going to do. So you're going to have a graph between packet inter-arrival time versus the average application throughput, right?
So only these two parameters we'll be checking, sir. The throughput and delay, average delay.
And delay, yeah, that is enough for this case now. Okay. So I got 0.58 for my first iteration. I'm sorry, I can't paste this as a value. Okay, I have to pay. Okay, so note down these values. So now you got the X and the Y. Use insert chart. I think you should know all this. So go and plot a graph. You can plot it as a line graph, right? And then tell me what is the graph. So the case now is this. When you are pasting your screenshots, paste it with the details. You are pasting this entire metrics window, fine. But put now your register number and say for 15 milliseconds packet interval, for 10 milliseconds packet interval, like that you can put and keep updating your status. But if you got a graph, in the next 10 to 15 minutes, put that Excel graph on the window. So the time is now is for you. Okay, I think there's a lot of issues. Many of you have not started. I'm just seeing the WhatsApp chats. Balaji sir, are you there? Okay, this all happened at 9:15. Okay, I'm sorry. So, is anyone still facing an issue apart from Maniganda? No, right? Okay.
Sir, I hope these register numbers are absent.
Who's that, Ratish?
So some people they didn't log in yet. They may be absent.
Log in itself.
Yeah.
Okay. So we will track that now.
So then Dheeraj in chat box put a screenshot. He is not getting the plots, I think.
Dheeraj is what is he not getting?
Plots.
I didn't get a plot, sir.
You didn't get the plot. You know why you will not get a plot? Yes. Anyone knows the answer for this?
Sir, he didn't press OK in the plot section.
Exactly. The dynamic metrics, there is an icon, right? If you have not, so let me do this. See, when you are running the simulation, Dheeraj, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Click on the dynamic metrics and click OK.
Okay.
So I told you that click these two buttons, enable it and then run. If you don't enable this, then the plots will not come.
Dynamic metrics, sir.
Dynamic metrics, yes. This particular window, you have to click and click. See, you want to plot the throughput graphs. Only when you click OK, then only it will plot. Otherwise, by default, it will not plot.
Okay.
Okay, try that and let me know. Anything else, Ratish?
No, sir, that's all.
That's all. So, who have not logged at all? That is what you have to track now, correct?
Yes, sir. Balaji, sir.
There are still some
put
students.
the register numbers.
Okay, I will find out. So before that, how many are there? 41 are there. Great. So somehow gone to 10 million. Great, Nitya, Vishali. Good. Case 1, case 2. You want to put like that is also fine. But I think let's all follow uniformly. 10, 15, 5, like that you keep putting. Please look at the values. It's very important that you analyze. Our interpretation should be what's the inference that you make when you're increasing the load on the land. Now, I am increasing generation rate. Per application is increasing its rate of generation. Now, can my LAN support it? My switch to the server, there's a link which has a capacity. Whatever the load that individually I'm generating, the switch has to multiplex and send all this data. But what it can maximum send is there is a bottleneck, right? So individually you're sending 5 Mbps, you get the fullest case. Now, multiple people are sending all at 5 Mbps. Each one is going to get affected, right? Now, if you have a servicing policy which is not fair enough, one might be biased, one might starve. So things like that could also happen. So this is what I want you guys to analyze. So if you might also have a problem if Netsum crashes, but I don't think that will happen. Hey, great, Rahul. Rahul, please do it for, very good. Rahul, do it for 5 milliseconds too.
Okay, sir.
Great, good, very good. Are you calculating the average correctly? See that formula? Okay, correct.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
So the delay, you see some variation in the delay, or it's the same value that you're getting? Okay, I think the bottleneck has not come for 10 milliseconds. Okay, proceed, yeah. Good. Okay, now I have to check who have not logged in. So I'm going to do that now based on Balaji's input. Who is 18 BC 1043? I'm going to find out the name. So I'm going to open the sheet. Okay, Shabash Jnani, are you there? Sabash? Okay. 18 BC. Nimai Krishna, are you there?
Yes, sir. I am.
Nimai, what's your status, Nimai?
So actually, I had some issues in login initially, but now it's solved. I have just logged in, sir.
You're logged in? Okay.
Yes, sir.
It's okay now for you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. How about Shabash Jnani? Are you there? Sabash, can I see your presence? You absent? Okay. Fine. So this guy is absent. 1279. Rajwal, are you there? Rajwal, are you there? Very good. Keep doing. Prajwal, are you there? Physically there? Okay. Prajwal, okay. 1307. Shiva Sandeep Verma, are you there? Shiva Sandeep Verma, are you there? Okay. 1066. Harish Kumar, are you there? 1066 Harish Kumar. Harish Kumar, are you there? Okay. 1109. Shiva Dinesh Reddy. Dinesh Reddy, are you there? Dinesh Reddy, are you there? And the last one, Venkata Rao, are you there? I think, yeah. So this is quite. So I think there are 6 students who have been absent today. But are they there now? 41 shows here. Okay, 40. Some are.
Excuse me, sir.
Who's that?
I'm Ashwant, sir.
Yashwant. Okay, yeah, tell me, Yashwant.
Sir, Sir, should we have to enable the static ARP?
No. I want you to disable the static ARP. If it's by default, it will be enabled. But I want you to go and disable the static ARP. Okay.
And static IP forwarding also should be disabled now, sir.
Where is that option? I think that all you don't need to touch all that. So when I click the run, wait, let me share the screen. Is my screen visible? See, the only thing is this here. You're just disabling the first one. That's all.
Okay.
Okay. Don't worry on the IP forwarding. Okay. And then change the time to 10 seconds. That's all.
Okay, sir.
So please do it. Okay. I think when you are doing, I hope you are able to look at how the throughput of the individual applications is, whether it is increasing or all increasing because everyone are generating at the constant same rate, correct? Only thing is they are generating more now in every iteration. But they are generating is one thing, but the throughput for that application is another thing. Is it also behaving the same way? Now that's the analysis that you're doing. And as you know, at one point in 5 milliseconds, I think Sai Kiran has pasted it specifically. Very good. Shiva Dinesh Reddy, I had some issues, but now it's fine. Shiva Dinesh, can I hear from you? Are you there?
Sir, can you check the plot, sir? I've pasted.
What is it?
Sir, I've pasted the Excel plot. Could you please check?
Oh, you pasted the Excel plot itself. Very good. Okay.
Sir,
okay. Throughput seems to be constant. Don't have a same plot for throughput and delay. Have an individual plot for just the average application throughput. Don't put an overlay tab. Okay. Hey, are you putting the average value?
Yes, sir.
No, it looks to be slightly different. Please check.
Sir,
The average
calculation. Inverted order, sir. Actually, the last one is the 5ms one, and I put it in the top in the file.
That's okay. Sir. That is okay. The average for all, is it the same? It should not be the same, right? Just check your average calculations.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine, guys. Great. So we have only done the task one. I want you guys to complete the task one. The only issue now is, yes, you are doing it during the lab time itself. How many are feeling NetSim comfortable? Can you just, just want to do a survey. Just raise your hands if you're feeling it comfortable if, compared to NS2 versus NetSim. Okay, Adit raises the Ria. Okay. So yeah, this is quite easy. The thing is, we can now make it much more complex in our analysis, right? We can quickly build the network, but the analysis, we can scale it up and make it more complex. So we will have this masala where we learn and we also increase our analysis further. So the next week we will continue this, right? We will also look at for an intermediate practice lot in the future. We just wanted to see if any issues comes in, and I think we were quite successful. So there's a lot of people working around for us. So I hope you appreciate that. Okay, good. So if you have done and you have the next class, you can leave. Great. Those who got 5 milliseconds, you're superb. Good. So if you finish
we
that,
can use
we
after
will-
the lab session, sir.
what is it?
We can use this after the
No.
lab
So
session.
now what is the problem here is we'll shut down the systems and you will not be able to use beyond your class hours. So we will be working out for a practice slot, probably if you're all free, say during extramural or something like that, for the practice time. But since now I'm carrying forward this to the next week, whatever that you've done so far, you will continue that in the next week, and then we will work out in between for when to fix this practice slot. During that time, the lab assistant has to switch on, and then you use it. So we have removed certain dependencies now, but switching on the systems and setting it up is something that we need the help of them. So we will let you know for that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So if you still want to work out and then finish it off and go, you could. We'll be still be there. So say we'll be open for another 5. If you have a class, you could just feel free to go. Okay. We'll continue the next lab. But please document whatever you've done. That I want you guys to do it. Fine, guys. Thank you.